I'm not a huge fan of the haircut. Big forehead, receding hairline, hair fall, a lot of problems going on there. But let's not get into that right now. I hope you can bear with me because I'm trying to bear with myself too. I'm trying to embrace the haircut. But the update I have about like my life and my college journey is just about how my thoughts have changed about online school from the last video that I made. When I made the last video about online school, it was the first week. I had more energy, I had more patience. I think I was a bit more optimistic about how the rest of the semester is gonna go, and I was kind of basically just looking forward to the new normal and just new challenge. But the reason why this video has been relatively late is because this is the first time I actually got the headspace to really sit down and talk to a camera about my thoughts and how I actually feel about online courses. So yeah, like here goes. It's a very unscripted, free-flowing video in comparison to the last few ones that I've made. So the thing with online school is that it's very, very, very much more intense, I feel, in comparison to just normal school. And the reason is because you don't have high final weights. Like, you don't have like 70% finals where you're basically like your grade is decided on that specific day. But there's also a problem with spreading it across the rest of the semester. It's because every single milestone or every single week that you have in a semester, you need to give it your 100% to really get those good grades and even get like at least moderate grades. Or even if someone just wants to pass the class, you need to just be consistently at work. And the thing is, like, when you're taking like 4 or 5 courses, like, you have multiple deadlines within that week. And that's probably not the only thing you're doing when you're in college, right? You're probably like applying for jobs. You're probably, doing extracurriculars. Like in my case, I have to do my DSC stuff and I have to do, my recruiting stuff. Thank God my, recruiting is going like decently, and like, DSC is, I wish I could do a bit more with DSC, but, at least it's like functioning to a certain degree that I'd like to have it. But when it comes to schoolwork, it's just that the intensity that's just like pushed across to us is just it's insane. Like it's just super hard to balance and super overwhelming at certain points. And I was just like looking at 1 week of a calendar that I had, and I was just wondering that there were 4 deadlines in one day. I had an interview, I had a quiz, I had a midterm, and I had an assignment due on the same day. And the thing is, like, people will say, okay, you should have started earlier. But when earlier was an existent time frame, I had like 6 different other deadlines that I had to deal with. And you get like such a short window, and each of these requirements, like if you want to do it very diligently, it takes a while. So like at some points it just feels like it's impossible to deal with these deadlines, and like you're just so anxious all the time. And I think I've worked until like 4 or 5 in the morning, slept for 4 hours, 5 hours, and I don't really like that kind of lifestyle either, because like what's the point, right? And I just feel like because of because of the amount of deadlines that are there, like I haven't really been learning things the way I want to learn it. I like to like really internalize the content, and just like, especially with the courses I'm taking, these are courses that I would have enjoyed in a normal setting, but because online school is just so demanding and just you're constantly judged and like constantly assessed across every single week, like I just feel like I'm just doing whatever it takes to get a good grade, or like just survive that grade, or like just keep my head above the water. And not really actually internalizing and learning something, and it just feels bad after a certain point, because it just feels like nothing really goes to your head. I just feel sad, because I just feel like I'm being robbed out of that learning experience. Like, and in particular, I have this one course where it's like a group project kind of course, but like the problem isn't the typical problem that comes with group projects. The problem is you're assessed on individual contributions to a group project. So I've just spoken about this to a lot of friends of mine, and I've just complained about this to a lot of people. But the problem, like, this is just specific to like I haven't really heard of a scenario like this in other schools, at least from the conversations I've had. But it's just that like you might get 1 day late, and there are like 10-15 different contributions on the same group project that you have, and there's only a subset of things that you can speak about on a specific topic or a specific project. And after that conversation just saturates, and whatever you'd say is just something repetitive, and you might not get credit for that, and therefore you would lose marks on the individual contributions. So at the end of the day, like, they've created this system where you have to implicitly kind of out-nerd the other person. Now, I've been getting good marks for that, at least decent marks, but like the pressure where like you need to constantly look at your notifications, you can't partition your day out because the project will go in different directions, and it's just hard to plan things out, and just like the amount of time you would spend on that and how anxious you are because you are not sure of your grade. There is no linear marking scheme for this stuff. It's just very dependent on the teaching assistant that will be marking at that point in time and how he looks at contributions in general. And it's just like you're competing, and it's just a catch-up game, and it's just like how it does not make any sense to me. I'm like, yo, like, what is this about? Like there are some projects where like other people don't do any work, so I can just like contribute a lot and just like get good marks. But there are some projects where people contribute within the next hour that something is released. The thing is, in your individual assignments, it doesn't matter whether you do the assignment on the first day or the last day of the assignment. As long as you submit it and you do it correctly, it doesn't matter when you like. People just like petitioned and like protested and just like got the message across about the discomfort they had about the class and like how things are assessed and whatnot. And obviously there was no like tremendous shift of things, but there was still like changes being made to the way like assessment was being done, and there was a bit more organization to things. And I think the lesson that you can learn from that is that if there is something uncomfortable, especially for brown people, right, like if there is something like uncomfortable happening within like your classes, or there's some discomfort that you have with something, don't feel afraid to like voice out your concerns and like just speak to your professors about these things. Like I've shied away ever since I came to McGill. Like most of the time I've just taken it as it is what it is. Even regardless of how big the place is, you can still your voice will be heard in most scenarios. And I think it's very important to address your concerns because there will be some form of relief from the feedback taken. And I think these are real professionals who like at least take this feedback into account. I still very much disagree with the way we are being evaluated, and it really costs a lot. Like it really takes up a lot of my time and a lot of headspace, and I don't get to do my other courses as much as I want to do them rather. But like there's some form of relief when you voice out your concerns. And the other thing is that it's very, very, very important during these times to leverage your support system and to connect with people even though it's virtual. I think I've literally been saved by multiple friends in multiple courses, just because we were able to like discuss ideas and just rely on each other whenever we needed help. And like it's not easy to play hero ball and do all this stuff alone sometimes, and I think it's okay to reach out to people and say like, yo, like, look, I'm struggling with this, and would you like to discuss these ideas, or would you like to like see how to approach like a problem in this assignment or something like that. And I think it's always very important to leverage that. It's very important to get engaged with the different groups that are there within like social media, and just like ask people if you have any questions, because I just feel like there's a gap of information, like, or like and I feel like even professors and like academics are still getting used to kind of delivering this information out to students. And I think there's that in that gap of information will be closed a bit if you're interacting with your peers and whatnot. So I think it's very important to rely on a support system and create new support system in different classes. I think another reason why your support system matters a lot during these times is just because like these are unprecedented times, and like it's very hard to get accustomed to this entire situation. I think I've felt so homesick, and I've just felt alone like a lot of times in the day. I'm so glad and so lucky and so fortunate to have like my roommates and like my friends who like who are around. But there are still points in my day where I just genuinely feel like homesick and just like, okay, should I go home? And I'm not sure if I go home whether I can actually come back for like next summer for my internship, and those kind of like problems run in your head. And obviously a lot of people, like we all basically are run into problems in our personal lives too. And I think I just truly feel like certain professors and academics, I understand that like this is a new period of time for them too, but I feel like there should be a bit more empathy when it comes to the situations that people face, and it's not uniform and it's not easy for everyone like during this time, and there's still only 24 hours every single day for people to do the tasks, even if we are at home. And the exams are much difficult because there's this fear of people copying from each other and cheating on these exams and all of that. It's just such a difficult time, and I think your mental health and your support system and how you interact with the support system is just much more crucial. I think just for me, just talking to my mother and just like complaining to my mother for like a good 30 to 40 minutes is just so much more relieving, and I like then just keeping all those thoughts in my head and just dealing with it on my own in front of a computer screen. I think a few other things that are important is just things like exercise and taking care of yourself and stuff like that. I really need to improve myself on like the health dimension of things, but something that I've successfully done is just like taking care of like my skincare routine and things like that. And I think those things really help and kind of help make you sane. And really getting into a routine, I think is something that helps. I'm not like, I know I talk about like college and like planning and stuff like that, but I'm not the most routine person ever. I think I'm at my core personality a very lazy person, and routines just like it just throws me off to be on a clock all the time. I'm a bit more easygoing than I might appear to be. So it's definitely difficult for me to wrap my head around like making a routine and going about things, but scheduling and following, like really partitioning your day into different pieces will really like help you enjoy this process much more. I think I've experienced burnout in like many occasions across the semester, and I think it's just been really like difficult sometimes. But I know for a fact that like I'm not perfect in the way I execute my routines and perfect in the way I go about my work every single day. I think I waste a bunch of time when I shouldn't have, or like I sleep and wake up at just random times sometimes, just deliberately, just because I don't know, I just like spending time in the night staying up. So small things like that really add up, and it really like spoils the day. And I am someone who hates to be on the clock, but I think during these times it's much more necessary to kind of like still be in love with the process of like just improving every single day. I'll definitely get around managing my tasks better and whatnot, and I think next semester is also going to be online, so I have a bit of blueprint. And small things like I spoke about, relying on your support system, voicing out your concerns, and the last thing would be just like picking out the combination of responsibilities and like courses that you have will also definitely help, because like you need to ensure that whatever you're taking up, whatever commitments you have like in the next semester are very complementary to each other, and that they don't really like attack each other in terms of like how productive and how efficient you can be within those tasks. So yeah, always be honest to yourself and take care of yourself. It's extremely important. And if you want to talk about and complain about online school at any time, any point in time, my ears and my DMs and my messages and my comment section is always open. But yeah, thank you, and I hope this video is a more relatable version of online school. All right, thank you.